Hello, my friend Scott here representing Youth Potential. I've been a bit quiet on social media recently. I've been going through quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. It's been the first year anniversary since my nan passed away. I'm going to be moving out of her house soon and into my own place, and that's quite stressful and scary. And I've attended a funeral today, so yeah, a lot going on. But never mind that stuff. Let's talk about autism. It is Autism Awareness Month, and in this video I'm going to talk about how it affects me. I don't talk about autism enough, and yeah, I definitely want to talk about it more here on the channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list the kind of traits that affect me sort of either regularly or semi-regularly, and I'm going to be using the list of core characteristics listed on the National Autistic Society website. I'm going to use that as a kind of guide to illustrate the traits that I experience as an autistic person. At the end of the video, please feel free to tell me like what affects you. Like, are there any of these traits that I'm going to bring up? Are they something that affect you as well?
Take that, mental illness. Hello my friends, and welcome to Youth Potential, a place where we talk about all sorts of things related to mental health. Whether you feel good or whether you feel meh, this place is for you. Also, I've got an Instagram account, please go and check that out.
Limited, delayed or no speech, and the avoidance of talking. Talking literally and taking everything literally. Sometimes, or a lot of the time, I'm confused by metaphors, paraphrasing, and if I'm supposed to read between the lines. Struggle with eye contact. I think this, when I'm talking to someone or if someone's talking to me, I struggle with eye contact regardless. I have to really force myself to make eye contact with people in conversation. Difficult with reading body language and facial expressions. This can also kind of cover when people are telling a joke or being sarcastic, or they mean something else than what they're saying. I can find that, yeah, really confusing. And again, going back to the whole being literal thing, sometimes people joke and I think they're being serious and they're not. And sometimes these people have to point it out to me. Struggle with social rules and social cues. In conversation, sometimes it can be difficult to know when the right time to talk, when the right time to stop. Yeah, it can be confusing. Routine is everything, and disruption is very distressing. I can't distress this enough. I live and die by routine. If something changes, honestly, I really have to ground myself to not fly off the handle and have a meltdown. Everything must be in order or an order. Simple little things, I don't know. Even like today when I went food shopping, I was packing my bags after paying for the groceries, and that had to be in a certain way. There's a system for everything, that's all I'm saying. Repeating behaviours to calm or ground myself. This can also be known as stimming. That can be anything from playing with like a fidget toy, or flapping hands, or jumping up and down on the spot, running really fast, doing weird, bizarre movements. Strong interests and being intensely passionate and informed about a particular subject. Anyone who knows me knows that I love my Pokemon and I love my rock and metal music. They're both things that I'm very, very passionate and obsessed over, and spend a lot of my time, a lot of my life surrounded by those two wonderful subjects. When it comes to senses, there is definitely a difference between an autistic person and a person who's neurotypical. A lot of the time, senses are heightened. Some of them are dulled. Like, for example, I find that if I'm in a loud place and it is a place that there isn't a live performance that I'm expecting, the loud noises can be really grinding on the ears, and it kind of gets into your brain and makes you lose focus, and it becomes stressful. Or another example of a sensory overload is, oh sorry, no, not a sensory overload, the opposite. When the senses are completely dulled, a lot of the time I don't feel the cold. My body temperature, no matter what it is and what the environment is, I don't seem to get cold at all. But on the flip side, I get hot and warm very, very easily. I'm just about wearing a hoodie in this temperature today. Yeah, but I think that is very different for all autistic people. I wouldn't say like every autistic person has the same levels of sensitivity towards their 5 senses as each other. I'm either looking for a lot of sensory input or the complete opposite, where I want to completely hide from everything a lot of the time, especially as the day goes on. When it gets to the evening, I like to sit in a low lighted room, quite dim lighting. I don't want any particular smells to be affecting me. I want to be in comfy clothes. I want it to be, you know, relaxed. Yeah, and that's because there's just something about the senses that drain our mental batteries. Going back to the whole limited language, being limited in how we talk, or even when I'm unable to verbalise what I want to say, sometimes I say something that doesn't actually convey what I'm trying to say, and then other people are confused by that. And the same goes when I'm on the receiving end of it. If people say something and that's not what they meant, I will just go by what they have said verbatim. When distressed, I'm talking about really distressed, like, you know, borderline meltdown. Other people can see it as being aggressive. Like, I know there are times when I get distressed or I'm overloaded or something in my routine changes, and I can headbutt things around me, or I can start whacking things around me, and people see that as aggressive and they get kind of put off by it, I think is probably the right word. Obviously, being an autistic person, I can suffer from meltdowns and burnouts. Meltdowns being more when you're tired and you're just kind of getting grotty and you start fidgeting, even, you know, screaming, hitting things at times. Fortunately, it doesn't get like that too often because I've been quite good at managing myself. But I suffer way more from burnouts where I'm completely drained, but rather than like a meltdown when you want to kick out and thrash out, a burnout is more just kind of just lay there and just feel like a rotting vegetable, basically. Seeing small details. As an autistic person, I'm very good at noticing very small details. I will probably find a needle in a haystack easily. But when it comes to seeing the big picture, you know, like seeing the overall long-term cause and effects or whatever, I find that really difficult. So I find it quite easy to focus in the moment and be able to solve a problem in the here and now. But for something that's much broader, something that's more complex, I just won't be able to see it or understand it as much. As an autistic person, I feel that I don't fit in with people a lot of the time. And I've just kind of got used to that. It's not something that particularly bothers me too much. I have a handful of really, really good friends that have known me for 10 to 20 years. And I'm grateful for them, and that's all I need. But when there are social gatherings, like today when I was at the funeral, the only person that I knew was the person that came with me and the family of the person who had passed on. And that was difficult, but we stuck together and I got through it. And finally, I can get confused or overwhelmed when there's a lack of direction or planning. So when I go away to a music festival, Download Music Festival, with my friends, I've been going mostly every year since 2008. There's been a couple of years where I missed out. And I'm always the one that plans, because if I don't plan, I don't know what everyone else is thinking, and that stresses me out. That makes me think, oh my God, what's going to happen? Who's going to be, how are we going to get there? Blah, 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 blah. I feel like I need to take the reins almost every single time in order to be relaxed. And that's not a control thing. I don't want to be in control because I want to control people. I want to be just in control of me and my circumstances. Obviously, when I'm making plans for myself, I do consider other people, but in the long and short of it, I've got to do what I think's right for me. And that goes the same for any person, not just autistic people. So thank you very much for listening, my friends. Like I said at the beginning of the video, please, the things that affect you as an autistic person or just as a neurodivergent person, please leave the comments below, and yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you soon, my friends. All the best.